Hello and welcome to Lightning Ventures founder interview number 002. I am here with Bernard Paravic, CEO and founder of BitNob. And he is the man. It is Saturday, October 23rd. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon in sunny South Florida. Lord only knows what time it is there where he is. Bernard, first off, where are you and how are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm in Lagos, Nigeria. It's 6 p.m. over here. So, yeah, it's good.
All right. Well, thanks for taking a little bit of time and doing this chat about BitNob and explaining the business. And this will be very helpful for
Yeah.
us and everyone who sees it. The first question here, it's kind of fun, but what is the story behind the name BitNob?
Okay, so pretty random, right? 2017, um, I quit my full-time job back then to say, hey, I want to start a career in the blockchain space, right? So I figured, this is going to be huge in the next 5, 10 years. And what I want to do with my career is essentially just say, hey, you know, I could be one of the best blockchain devs coming out of Nigeria and Africa in the next 5, 10 years. So when I started that, I was already doing some kind of OTC trades in Accra and just more or less like, hey, why don't you just put up a website to formalize this as a business so that people can can always reach out to you officially. Um, I tried with many different names. I don't want to mention some of them. Like I don't want to mention some of them. So um, this fateful evening, one of my friends, Kwabena, I was staying with him in Accra. We're just coming back from town, and it's like, Bernard, I think I have a name for you for the Bitcoin stuff. What do you want to do? And I'm like, yeah, tell me. It's like BitNob. I'm like, what does it mean? He's like, I thought of something around nobles or nobility and Bitcoin. So you have BitNob. I'm like, okay, is the domain name available? He said, yeah, it's available. I've already reserved it. And I'm like, I want it. That was it. In the car, within 5, 10 minutes, we had kind of come up with the name. And yeah, that has been it.
So Bitcoin nobles, and it's not often that there's a company that I'm excited about, both as an investment, but also literally changing people's lives and the entire country and offering opportunities that doesn't exist. And BitNob checks all those boxes. So you said 2017. Can you just talk about how the idea came to be? Because it's come so far since the original. You're a technical founder. You're a programmer. You can build things yourself. You have an engineer background. What was the original launch? And I know that you told me privately, at least, it started as just kind of a service, as a hobby while you were at university. Um,
Yeah.
what happened? How did that unfold to where it is today?
Yeah, so interesting. 2017, it was essentially just a simple website where you come and then you say, okay, so Mike wants to buy some Bitcoin and Mike is in Accra. Right. So Mike goes to bitnob.com and bitnob.com has this simple form that says, hey, you know what? Enter your Bitcoin address. Um, this is the exchange rate for Bitcoin today in Ghana cedis. Make a payment to my mobile money account. And when I come, I'm going to get your order, buy your Bitcoins, and send it to your address. That was it. It was just simple. Right. And it was just an extension of what I was already doing as a hobby, as I mentioned earlier, on WhatsApp and on Telegram. So 2017, that was pretty much it. 2018, I came back to Nigeria. So came back to Nigeria just for holidays, and somehow I didn't go back to Accra. And I started to build it out as an exchange, right? So just a Bitcoin brokerage where you could buy Ethereum, Litecoin, other coins, and Bitcoin, right? So when I did that, I couldn't really get any of the payments processors to process my payments. So what happened was I went to Paystack's office and I said, hey, you know what? I've done this crypto stuff. I need a way to collect payments as an on-ramp and off-ramp. And they say, hey, you know what? The central bank isn't allowing us to do this. And I say, hey, but I know these other guys, they're doing it on your platform. So why don't you let me do it? They said, they're sorry, they can't let me do that. So I got pissed off and I left. When I left, I decided to do something. So for the next 2 weeks, I decided to hack on a product that allows you to convert vouchers into Bitcoin. So you know Azteco? You know Azteco vouchers, right? So I decided to build something like an Azteco. And the thinking behind that was, I could do this without using those banking rails where people could just buy these things anywhere and then get some Bitcoin. So I built that back then. Just it didn't really fly as much as I wanted, right? I was still doing this part-time, so it didn't really fly as much as I wanted, but a lot of people found it really interesting. So you buy this voucher and then you come on the website. You don't need to sign up, don't need to do nothing. Just enter your Bitcoin address, enter the voucher PIN, and then you receive Bitcoin in your account instantly. So, I mean, I played with that sometime in 2019. We played around the idea of a non-custodial wallet. So what we just did back then was we took the Copay wallet, right, and cleaned it up and just made it better for our own community, and just put it up and say, hey, you know what, this is a non-custodial wallet, use it. So I mean, we're still doing that as a hobby, not as a full-time thing, right? So it was there, stayed within 2019, didn't really pick up. And then early coming into 2020, we had just finished working on a startup. So we tried to do another startup. It didn't work. So we decided, so I called my team and I said, hey guys, you know what? I know why BitNup hasn't been working all this while with these different ideas that I've been trying. And they said, why? I said, it's because we're not doing this full time. It's because we're doing it as a side project. We're doing it as a hobby. I've seen what everyone is building in the African space. I think we have a better team that can build the best products in this space. So, you know what? Let's do this full time this time. The thinking behind it is this. I don't want to be 70, 80, and I'm regretting not ever trying this, right? Or giving it my full attention. So I said, hey guys, let's do this full time. Let's go into this. If we do it, I can assure you guys that we're going to be successful. I know us. We've built a lot of stuff. We can build this. Let's just make sure that this time we're not letting any other thing take our attention. We're focused on this. Yeah, and then, they agreed. A couple of them quit their jobs, came in full time, and then we started building BitNup to where it is today. So that's why we started with the dollar cost averaging product, and, to where we are today. So essentially, side project. And in 2020, we decided to go full time into it.
So 2020,
yeah,
you went full time. 2017, now this was just a peer-to-peer exchange, or that was your attempt to launch a real exchange and had banking problems?
Yeah, so 2017 was just like a simple exchange, right? Like just a very basic exchange. And then 2018, where I had banking problems in Nigeria, couldn't launch, yeah.
All right, so I want to unpack all of this in a little bit because BitNob is such a robust business. There's so many different aspects to it, as well as so many different things on the roadmap for what you have planned, right? There's no easy way to explain it because there's so many different services that you're building and offering. But let's first start with Africa. Africa as a whole, right? There was a Chainalysis report that came out a couple months back saying that, Africa Bitcoin volume is up 1,200% in the past year, and that it's basically one of, if not the best market to see growth for Bitcoin, right? That's one of the reasons that everyone's so excited about BitNob. But what's it like living there? The economic challenges. I had no idea about the roadside agent when you were filling me in on that whole rigmarole. You know, your neighborhood barber is also a money transfer.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Can you talk about what Africa's lacking? What's the process? If you needed $20 from an ATM in Africa, I mean, how does that work? Can you just talk about Africa as a whole?
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, the first thing to know about Africa as a whole is, if you've not been to Africa, the first thought that you have in your mind is that it's like a single country, right? It's like there's a lot of similarities. Then, when you step into Africa, you suddenly realize that even within West Africa, for example, um, you have Nigeria. So for Nigeria, you have Nigeria, Togo, Benin Republic, and Ghana, right? So these are four countries. In between Nigeria and Ghana, you have Togo and Benin Republic. These are francophone speaking countries, right? So doing business in Benin Republic and Togo is completely different from how you do business in Nigeria. Doing business in Nigeria is completely different from how you do business in Ghana. One of the clear differences is this. If you go to Ghana, for example, you'd have to rely on using mobile money, right? So you could use feature phones to just do bank transfers. And so people typically don't use their bank accounts a lot in Ghana. It's just mobile money. So your phone number is your bank account, right? When you come to Nigeria, it's the opposite. Nigerians don't use mobile money as much as they use bank accounts. So bank transfer, it's like the reason. The common thing that we have around all of Africa is the heavy use of cash, right? The heavy use of cash. And of course, some people say, electricity, problems with electricity. But I mean, Ghana has like very good electricity as well. So that would be unfair to them and a few other African countries. Now, let's break it down. Let's look at the within the same Africa or within Nigeria, for example, right? What classes of people do you have and how do they interact with the current financial system, right? So you have the Gen Zs of today, right? And a Gen Z today in Nigeria, for example, could afford to operate without having a bank account, right? Lots of them have never stepped into a banking hall as we speak. You understand? I know a few that don't have a bank account, but are still able to live in this country, right? So Abubakar, for example, he doesn't have a bank account, but he's able to buy whatever he wants to buy. He just kind of lives on Bitcoin in a way, right? For them, they are global citizens. They don't see themselves as just Nigerians. They are like outspoken, they're not shy. They're confident. And part of the confidence stems from the fact that they can see what other people are doing around the world, and they can see that their own talent also matches, or even it's better than a lot of people around the world. So they're confident. And for these young ones, they're big on things like Spotify, Apple Music, Netflix, and really, they don't care about cable TV, they don't care about CNN, they don't care about those things. For them, interacting with the financial system is pretty easy. So for you to get like a Gen Z to use Bitcoin, it's really easy for them. They are more open to investing in things. So you find a lot of them doing things like stock trading in Nigeria, right? Fractional stock trading through the apps that we have. They're like into a lot of cryptocurrencies. Basically, they have this hustle mentality, right? A couple of them are just influencers on TikTok and IG, and for them, we call them like citizens of the world. Then you have, say, the millennials, like, around my age who, we've interacted with the banking system. So we've seen the ATMs, we've gone to the banking hall a couple of times to do a transfer. We've gotten to the point where we're able to make instant payments to our banking apps. But then as our earning power increases, we are trying to do more trade with the world, right? And what we're realizing is Bernard can work in Nigeria and probably earn, say, $2,000 a month, but Bernard has $2,000, but he can't use that $2,000 to buy things on Amazon, right? This is legitimately earned money, but I can't use it to. So if Michael says, "Hey, Bernard, I'm sending something to you in Nigeria, you need to send $500 to me," it becomes really difficult to do that in the current banking system. So But now it's open to things like, stable coins, open to things like P2P bank transfer. So I have a friend in the US, I ask them and they send money to you, over there, and then we do the transaction. Then you have the people who are older than me, right? So our parents, and for them, it's still the old school. They prefer to walk to the banking hall, to do their thing. They don't really believe in internet banking and, and all of those things, right? They want to see you. They want to actually see who is actually transacting with their money. But then at the intersection of all this is the fact that these we suddenly have people have moved from going into banking halls to do transactions to using ATMs for transactions. So it now got to a point where you could use your ATM card to refill your phone's credit, to send money to someone, withdraw money and do other things. Then from there, we moved to a place where a lot of those things can be done on mobile apps, right? And then we're now at a place where not just the mobile apps, I could just walk let's say just 500 meters from wherever I am right now, and I can find 3, 4, 5 places where I can get cash, right? Or send money to someone anywhere in Nigeria without having to walk into a banking hall or using an ATM machine. And basically what this means is we have what we call agent networks in Nigeria. So you, Michael, you have a business, you have a mom and pop store, and as part of the services that you offer on your mom and pop store, you can sell airtime credits, right? Phone credits. And part of that also means that, okay, you can be like a bank for your community. So they can send money through you, and then you can essentially you're an on-ramp and off-ramp to them. And all you need to do is register with any of the authorized agent networks in the country, and you are able to instantly become like a small bank yourself, right? So what it then means is I can stay in Nigeria for the next 5 years and never have to enter a banking hall. Personally, I don't know the last time I entered a banking hall, right? So, and I use an ATM probably once or twice in a year, right? And then we have a lot of POS devices as well for payments. So people are not really using cash as much as you think they are right now. So like part of our own level. But then you now look at the rural areas, it's cash. It's cash heavy once you move out of the cities. When you start moving out of the cities and the major towns, it's essentially cash heavy. And it's these agents that actually power them. So you go to a village of 100 people, and the shop where they buy their groceries, where they buy their bread, milk and whatever, is the same shop where they're able to, receive money. So if I send money to my mom in the village, for example, it's that shop where she goes to buy things where she can actually withdraw cash without having to go to a bank account. So it's interesting. That's how it works. It's similar in Ghana as well with mobile money. You go to Benin Republic, Togo, you go across African countries. A lot of these agent networks are, the last mile for actually bringing banking services to the population.
So for the roadside transfers or the transfer agents, what are the typical fees for that? Is it small or is it pretty hefty? Say if you were sending $100 to your mom in the village and she went to the local store, what does that cost on a percentage basis?
It's very low. So if you do $100 today, it's around 50,000 naira, and they'll probably charge her maybe 100 or 200 naira, which is like less than 1%. Less than 1%. So
for that small of a fee, it's hard to see why so many mom and pop shops would want to be transfer agents. Is it just a convenience then? Why would there be so many of these?
There's a volume. So it's the volume game, right? It's a volume game, and also the fact that they can actually increase those fees at will whenever they want to, right? But then it's a volume game as well. So there's competition, right? So it drives the fees down. But if you are making 50 cents if you're making 50 cents from each transaction, for example, right? It's a volume game. You could, because people are coming to buy things in your shop, they could probably do like a lot of transactions that day. So for them, it's mostly a volumes game and just augment their income, right? There are no jobs. So, whatever little you can get, it helps a lot.
So I know it's not the main part of what you're building, and I want to get into that, but the voucher system, okay?
Yeah.
Do you have to onboard with every individual transfer agent, or do you do kind of a partnership with the registered transfer agent network? How then can I go into my local barbershop and buy one of these vouchers that will eventually be swept into my BitNob wallet? How do you onboard them?
Okay, so it's mostly partnerships, right? And OTC traders, right? So as an OTC trader, for example, you could say, hey, you know what? I want to load my wallet with say $1,000, and then you give us like a USDT, and then we credit your wallet, right? And you go to a barbershop, and that OTC trader can sell to you there. Then you buy the voucher, you give them Naira. So if you want to buy $10, you give them the Naira equivalent of $10, and then they give you the voucher pin, and then you are able to easily go sort it on your on your own as well. So it's essentially just tying into the P2P market. So we don't have to we're not really doing like individual onboarding. It's mostly partnerships with people who actually can drive volumes for us.
Okay. So the voucher model is the part of your business that I'm least excited about. I think it's awesome. I think it's a great service, but that's not the big picture of what I'm personally excited about. But I'm just trying to understand how this works. So I'm here. I want to buy $100 in a voucher. Okay. Now the first step is I need USDT or some type of stable coin, or can I go directly to my barbershop and do that? Yeah.
Oh, no. So the barber shop, the person selling to you in the barber shop is the person who's going to worry about the USDT or whatever. You just take your Naira to them, and then they're going to give it to you, right? But then I think we're facing out the voucher part right now, in the sense that we're moving to a fuller P2P experience on the app, right? So where you just need to, if you go to a barber shop and you give them your cash, they can actually just fund your account for you there without you having to buy a voucher, right? So, but then it's the same way people actually have been topping up their phone credits. So you walk to an agent on the roadside, you give them cash, and they give you the equivalent, and then you just scratch the pin and load it, and then you're good to go. Yeah, so nothing complex for the end user.
Okay, well, that's interesting. Not focusing on the vouchers, and as Techo is, and I'm going to work my damnedest to get that partnership up and running here. Okay, so let's start with the simplest product to understand, right? Nothing new, the dollar cost average product. I haven't been able to use a BitNob wallet myself because I'm a US citizen. But okay, so I want to buy $10 a week or X amount a week. Now, this is pretty much the similar model to a lot of stuff that we're seeing geographically elsewhere, right? Amber in Australia, US is Swan. This is that type of model, right? You're promoting savings in Bitcoin.
That's correct. Yeah, correct. That's correct. Yeah.
Similar. And you've been careful to use the word savings instead of investment.
Yeah. That's correct. We thought part of the reasons why we thought we kind of really went heavy on using the word savings is just the fact that a lot of people save, but not everyone invests. For some people, the moment they hear invest, it's like it's too heavy, right? They suddenly start thinking of charts and all of those crazy screens that they see traders using. But when you tell people save, you know what? You've been saving in Naira already. So this saving is just in Bitcoin. That's all. You're not trading. You're not doing nothing. And we've found out that it's easier for a lot of people who don't understand Bitcoin to actually catch the savings concept more than the investing term. Yeah.
So just as a point of reference here, I want to make sure that I have this right. Your inflation alone, okay, was 17% last year. Is this like a misprint on this number, or is that real?
Man, it's real. It's real. Should be somewhere around 18% right now. So it's real. And that's core inflation. Food inflation is around 23%, which is like really crazy.
Okay, so you have the dollar cost average, right? You're promoting savings, you get people on the platform. And
Yeah.
then now I don't know what year this was, but you hit a problem. And that was people wanted to spend their Bitcoin. They needed access to cash,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
and what happened and what did you do?
Yeah, crazy period. So and we noticed this when we're still in private beta. That was sometime last year. We noticed this sometime around August, September. People were saving in Bitcoin, and you suddenly notice that after 1 month of saving, this person is clearing out their whole savings, is liquidating it. And we kept on looking at the data. What's happening? And we talked to them. They're excited about dollar cost averaging, but the same thing came up. I have an emergency. It doesn't make sense to still keep Bitcoin. I got to stay alive, right? What's the Bitcoin for? And it's like the fastest thing I can liquidate, which is actually a testimony to the fact that the Nigerian market is very liquid when it comes to Bitcoin as well. Like, you can send Bitcoin to me and I can liquidate it within the next 5 minutes on a lot of platforms. So we discovered that, and then we kind of said, okay, here's what we're going to do next. We're going to gamify the process. So uh, the way our dollar cost averaging works is you have what we call savings plans, right? So you could have a saving plans for your Lambo, one for your kids, one for college, one for travel. So you could have a lot of different savings accounts where you're doing dollar cost averaging. So what we decided to do was say, hey, uh, we're going to add time periods to this where people make commitments to savings. So we started with 3 months, 6 months, and a year. So when you're creating a saving plan, you're committing to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to be saving, I'm going to be dollar cost averaging for the next 3 months. If I break that commitment, BitNup should charge me a 3% fee. Right. So we did that. It increased the retention for the product, but there were still some people who didn't mind the 3% penalty. I spoke to them. They told us they would gladly pay the penalty just to have their money back and use it for whatever they want to do. So we went back, kind of just thought, what can we do to do this? And if we're saving their Bitcoins.
They were taking
Yeah.
the penalties and the workaround for how to fix this sort of problem and continue to promote savings and promoting people to not sell Bitcoin.
Bitcoin, yeah. And what then happened was we decided to build a Bitcoin lending product to say, hey, you know what? Even this 3% fee, keep it. Whenever you have a problem, come over. We have the Bitcoin, and we're going to give you a fiat loan, right? 50% LTV maximum. The interest rates we're giving you are much lower than the interest rates currently obtainable in the country. So you have a lot of 3%, 4%, 5% a month around from other lenders. What we're going to do is we're going to give you like, say, 1.5% a month. And then you get to keep your Bitcoin. And if there's any margin calls, we inform you, so that you don't get liquidated and then do it. So that's why we decided to build a lending product for our customers. And since then, we've I think out of like 1,000 savings plans, you'll probably see maybe less than 20 liquidating it, including the penalty, right? Which we think so essentially we're seeing more people doing dollar cost averaging comfortably today since we did that. Yeah, so we've not had that problem again.
So, as far as the lending piece goes, which I'm really excited about this because this is a huge business, right? And you're promoting people to still save in Bitcoin, access that cash when they need it. You're able to offer an interest rate that's, I don't know, half at least of the going rate in the country. All right. So, this is like a win across the board for everyone. So I'm super excited about this. Now, just so how it works now. Okay, so if somebody takes a loan, all right, they have. I'm using dollars because it's easy for me to understand.
That's what we use for the platform. So go ahead. It's dollars. It's just dollars and Bitcoin.
Okay, so I have $1,000 worth of Bitcoin in my BitNav account, and I need to borrow 500, right? And I'm only going to need it for maybe 30 days. Okay, so that withdrawal process, okay, since you have carefully navigated the banking regulations, okay, and you have roadside transfer agents, and you have all these phone wallets, you have all these things that you have to do so carefully, okay, in Africa. I want my $500 now. How do I get that? How does that process work?
Okay, yeah. So on a Bitnob wallet, we have two balances, two account balances. One is in dollars, backed by stable coins, and then the other is in Bitcoin. So you have $500 worth of, let's say you have $1,000 worth of Bitcoin. Of course, the maximum loan you can access is $500 worth of Bitcoin, 500 USD, sorry. So here's what happens. You apply for the loan, we review it, and then once it's approved, what then happens, of course, mostly it's instant, but there are instances where we just let it stay there so for a manual review. Um, Once it's approved, the $500 that we're approving to you goes into your dollar wallet on the app. Right. So now you have $500, but then you have your Bitcoin locked. What then happens after that is we then say, hey, you can do a normal withdrawal. So the way withdrawals typically work on the app is when you sell your Bitcoin, it gets settled into your dollar wallet. And then when you're trying to withdraw to your bank account, we show you the exchange rate from the dollar to Naira at that point in time to show you how much you're going to receive in Naira. So you give us your bank account details, and then any of our agents or partners is able to credit your bank account with the Naira. So the moment you receive the lending, the money we're lending to you, $500, you can request a withdrawal, $500. If it gives you 100,000 Naira, we give your bank account details to any of our partners, and then they're able to credit you with that, with actual Naira into your Nigerian bank account. So it's pretty straightforward once you get the loan.
And that's an instant transfer, right?
Yeah, in most cases, yeah, in most cases, just so some if it delays, you probably get it like 5-10 minutes. Like for the partners, they're typically waiting for the transfers to just come and then they execute it. Yeah.
Okay. So if I don't have a bank account, or maybe I needed a bank account to create my BitNav account, if I didn't have a bank account, would I be able to pick that cash up locally at one of these transfer agents, or do I need a bank account then to fund my loan?
No, so for now you need a bank account. If you don't have a bank account, you can use a mobile money account. So typically you'd find that if people don't have a bank account, they have a mobile money account to do that. So yeah. And of course, one of the ways is that you'd be able to pick it from someone else, but we typically discourage that right now because we're kind of still experimenting with these things, right? So I wouldn't want a situation where someone is preying on innocent people to say, hey, use my account to receive this money, and then there's some kind of trouble, and that's because there have been cases like that even in the traditional financial system in Nigeria. So we're like very careful around that so that no one gets into trouble with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have a dollar cost averaging strategy. We have lending and access to capital if you need it once you're on the platform. Now you're charging the interest on the lending. Does anyone have the option to then earn and make their Bitcoin on Bitnob a productive asset? Or is that something that you're working on?
No, yeah. So that's something that we're working on, and the reason why it's delayed, it's this. Of course, today there are many ways to kind of give people yield, right? But then what's important for us is we're looking at the sources of yield, right? What are the most transparent and safest for our users? Because essentially they're taking counterparty risks, and we feel really bad for them to lose their Bitcoin in situations where it shouldn't happen. So yeah, that's something we're working on, and a lot of our users have actually asked for that. Been asking for that. Hey, we need to earn something on our Bitcoin and make it more productive. Yeah, so that's something we're still working on.
So if I had to come up with a concern,
Yeah.
A lot of Bitcoin companies now, this is what's so unique and interesting about Africa and what you're doing, okay, is every country that you go into, every neighboring country, it's a new incorporation, a new business account, a new set of rules, okay? So you started, I mean, you have Ghana, Nigeria, and now I believe next is going to be Kenya and South Africa. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
So as far as the remittance opportunity alone, okay, do you have any numbers that you can share as far as what that means for Africa?
Yeah, I mean, most of the numbers that I have, so for Nigeria alone, I'm trying to get the exact numbers, but I know that last year alone, the remittances through the official channels fell like more than 80% in a year, right? From the official channels to using cryptos like Bitcoin and stable coins. Uh, Intra-Africa, it's like more than a $50 billion market when it comes to remittances, coming into Africa. And intra-Africa remittances are not even really accounted for into those things, right? But then people do a lot of trade between Nigeria and Kenya, Nigeria and Ghana, and a lot of these markets in the Francophone market. So if we're able to connect these markets, then it's part of the things that essentially just means that there's easier movement of money, and it's a huge volume between these parts. Uh, Something to make it even more easily relatable is the fact that when you go to Ghana, for example, there are a lot of Nigerian students in Ghana. So I was one, and I knew the problems that we had trying to get money from home to Ghana, right? And vice versa. So you have a lot of Nigerian students in South Africa, for example, a lot of Nigerian students in Kenya. You have students from Kenya and South Africa. So you have all of this. So if you look at only the students, as a demographic, not even traders. If you look at just students across different African countries, it's already a huge market on its own, just moving money between, these countries. So I think I totally believe I'm of the opinion that connecting Africa, it's like Bitcoin has given unfair advantage to anyone trying to do this, right? It's just building the last mile of these services to connect these people across this country. So you're looking at more than a $50 billion a year, market here that you just need to get a slice of.
So going from Ghana to Nigeria to Kenya and not having to actually incorporate, okay, and do the traditional banking services in that country. Okay, this is very special and unique what you've put together here. By utilizing the roadside agents, by utilizing the vouchers, okay, and by building out the peer-to-peer service, okay.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit on how the peer-to-peer service works and how you can cross borders without a lot of the regulatory issues that Bitcoin companies find in other parts of the world?
Okay, yeah. So again, Africa, for example, if you go to Uganda, right? Uganda has a very clear policy for crypto companies. You understand, to register, have a business account, process payments and everything. But yeah, you go to Nigeria, you go to Ghana, you go to Kenya, these things are not really there. Now, with the P2P system, it essentially means that we actually don't need to have any physical presence in those countries. What we just need to have is two people from that same country, right? They don't even have to be from the same country. Two people just willing to exchange value in that currency, but on the same platform. So I am in Nigeria and you are in Ghana, and I want to send money to you in Ghana, right? All I need to do for a P2P product is I come and I try to do a P2P product with the Ghana cedis, right? So I find someone on BitNob who is also looking to sell their Bitcoin, right, for cedis, or who is looking to buy Bitcoin from another person, and then the platform matches the two of us. Now, typical P2P just means that you come meet any random person. But we've gone a step further to abstract that, to say that in all of these countries, once we have OTC traders who are like really looking for your Bitcoin, then volume is guaranteed, right? Because they have fiat that, for example, in Ghana right now, we're just partnering with a few OTC traders who process all the volumes for us, right? We don't need to have any documents in Ghana. So it's just partnering with, so I come on a platform as an end user and I'm able to say, hey, you know what? I'm trying to sell Bitcoin and this is the account I want to receive the money into. Yeah. And then BitNup locks that Bitcoin in escrow and is able to, wait for the payment confirmation from both parties and then releases the Bitcoin to the other person. And then we just earn something from like the exchange fees, the transaction fees, and then we're good.
Wow. All right. So we have the voucher product. We have the dollar cost average product. We have the lending product, okay, which by the way is much better than paying 5% a month. It's just unbelievable that people pay that amount of money to borrow money over there. We have the peer-to-peer network, which is allowing you to rapidly scale and circumvent a lot of red tape. Okay. Yeah. And something that a lot of people are very excited about is the API products. Okay. Yeah. And everything else that you're rolling out. Now, I don't know if that's mainly geared for merchants or if there's a bigger plan there, but can you give like a full rundown on the API aspect of BitNob and what the goals are there?
Okay, yeah. So the API product is it's bigger than just for merchants, right? So today the API product essentially combines. So our lending products, for example, has APIs, which means that we can partner with any traditional financial institution, to offer Bitcoin-backed loans, right? Without they having to understand how to do margin calls and all of those things. Like BitNob will say, hey, take the APIs. This is how you do Bitcoin-backed loans. You don't need to understand liquidation and all of those things. Just abstract it, and then you're good to go. And then we have, of course, the regular Bitcoin APIs with which you can build your own Bitcoin wallets, right? So you're a fintech, and so let's say like a Robinhood, they want to, they're offering Bitcoin, they want to do withdrawals and deposits. We have an API that they can use to do that, correct? So just think of a lot of the fintech products around Africa that could potentially do that. And also, so here's how I describe it sometimes. Someone can wake up in Senegal tomorrow and say, hey, I want to build my own BitNob for Francophone Africa, right? And BitNob says, hey, you know what? You don't need to worry about doing all of that. BitNob has a full set of APIs where you can just come build. Don't worry about running your own nodes. Don't worry about, custody or whatever. Just come. We have it all. You can go live with Bitcoin and with Lightning, like from day one. You're good to go. Then on the other side of this, we also have like a checkout product on that. So essentially, just think of what OpenNode has, right, for Bitcoin checkout. We have that as well on the API side. That on the B2B side, where any merchant can accept Bitcoin payments via Lightning and on-chain payments as well. So we have that. We have a couple of plugins in the works. So WooCommerce, Shopify, and co. By ending next month, we should probably have 5 to 10 other plugins for popular platforms out. So what's the bigger play here? The bigger play here is not just for these merchants. The bigger play here is this. A lot of the existing financial institutions, in Africa, for example, have settlement problems across countries, right? So it's like a two-step plan. Once you're able to ramp up with a lot of merchants from different countries in Africa, right, we're going to be able to have enough volume where people are accepting Bitcoin payments, right, and they need fiat settlement, or the other way around, right? A payments processor accepts a lot of fiat payments and want to settle their partners in those countries. We can power all of that, say, via Lightning, and just abstract all of it for them, right? So Lightning is essentially like a settlement layer for them, right? Without they having to expose it public, so like a back rail. And essentially just say, you know what, in the future, if anyone wants to really build anything on Bitcoin and Lightning, and you're in Africa, you don't need to understand how to manage a channel. Like, hey, come, BitNob has got that for you. So essentially, that's just like a bigger place. So just beyond the merchant processing. I mean, anyone can build his own merchant processor on top of what we have today as well. So it's just interesting that it's early days. So some of these things we have to build them ourselves to show people that these are some of the things you can build yourself, right? And then get their creative juices flowing, and then they can build whatever they want to build in the future.
That's a tremendous opportunity with the APIs. I mean, building a mini open node for your network there in Africa is huge. I have a few questions about the monetization of some of this APIs. Each step along the way, just if you can explain it to me like I'm five, how are you going to get paid on the services of these APIs?
Yeah, so currently what we're settling with is taking like a percentage of each transaction, right? So we're currently settling around say 0.5% of each transaction that goes through the API. Of course, we have like a secondary model that we're looking at, where of course say, okay, as a third party, if you generate, you probably have like you can say create like 10,000 Bitcoin addresses, right? And you pay a monthly fee to create those 10,000 Bitcoin addresses and use them. If you pass a threshold, you have to go to a new subscription plan. So here's the thing. Because we're still testing it out in beta with a few companies, we're still trying to figure out the best monetization to go with. So for now, it's just on transaction fees at the moment. Yeah, but we could change it in the coming months as well. So yeah, still at the experimental stage.
Okay, so that's great. I just have to ask because it seems like a logical step, right? To maybe one day think about adding some sort of debit card or plastic sort of spending option directly in BitNob. Now, I don't know if that's going to be a whole different challenge or if that's not on your radar. It just seems like a logical step at some point in time, or maybe kind of like a prepaid USD plastic sort of marketplace thing. What do you think as far as BitNob's future with spending directly in the app, or adding to an Apple or Google Pay, or even just having one debit card that is part of your BitNob account, similar to a PayPal or one of these other behemoths?
Okay. So now I have to reveal this here. So we're already working on a debit card, a MasterCard debit card, right? That is, so in fact, we're providing that on the API level at first, and then it's going to be in the app as well. So what this essentially means is, of course, is any BitNob user can have like a virtual card. So we're starting with a prepaid virtual card. It's a big problem. It's a big opportunity here for us. So we're starting with that. We're hoping to launch it, in time for Black Friday. So a lot of people do Black Friday purchases from Nigeria. So we're hoping to launch it in time for that period. So of course we have plans for that, and then we just want to start with the prepaid with the virtual card and see what it looks like next year. Where we are as a company. Because the thing with the physical cards is the logistics, right? It's the logistics now. You you need a whole line of customer support for this. Like it's crazy logistics. So we just want to start with the lowest hanging fruit, which is like providing these virtual cards, and we're doing it via APIs. So any other fintech that is building on our APIs can also just offer these virtual cards to their own users at the end of the day as well. So yeah, it's definitely part of our future plans.
So I can't help myself because I love talking about our other portfolio companies, especially when they get together, right? I'm glad that we chatted a little bit about Azteco, and have to ask, does some of this prepaid debit card have anything to do with Pay with Moon? Is that a current partnership? Is it a temporary thing? Is it a long-term thing? And are they involved with that? Because they are kind of leading and doing pretty well in that space right now.
Yeah, so for this one, it's a MasterCard, right? Well, our discussion with Moon is that sometime next year they're going to have like an API that we can tap into to do that. But currently, what happens is PayWithMoon is a primary provider of virtual cards like that are coming from our platform. So and it's I mean it's good. I use it. I use it almost weekly. Like it's a fantastic service. So I'm just looking forward to when they have when Ken has APIs for us, and you know, we're able to just directly do it, you know, and then collaborate, you know, on that level. But we're already collaborating. I mean, we sorted out the customer support issue together just last week. No, just early this week. So yeah, it's exciting.
So as far as Lightning versus on-chain, somebody sent in a question here. Just curious the percentages of Lightning versus on-chain for your typical user. Have you found resistance to the Lightning Network, or is it a lot of millennials that are mainly, you know, funding their Lightning wallets, or what is the percentage there?
Okay, I think we can say it more from a usage because as it stands, Lightning transactions probably take like around 5% of our daily transaction volumes right now, which is like it's been growing. So we started in August, and we just opened it to everyone sometime in September, and you know it's already like growing. Um, and so for them, it's not really like they have to fund like a separate Lightning wallet. The experience that we have is you have a single Bitcoin wallet, and when you want to make a payment, you choose a Lightning channel or an on-chain channel. So if you receive via Lightning as well or on-chain, it still consolidates into the same wallet. So the experience is a bit seamless for them. And yeah, so it's growing. We're looking to push it. It's one of those things where for a lot of people, it's the first time they're using it. So it's like that excitement. That's what we're trying to do. So what we're trying to do to encourage it, of course, is to, you know, put a couple of cashback programs to encourage them to, you know, spend via Lightning to see that, hey, you know what, there's actually Bitcoin, you know, that is faster this way. So yeah, I'll peg it at around 5% of our daily transaction volumes right now.
I'm glad that you're merging that QR code system. I hope that every wallet does that. That's the only way this is going to work. I mean, still a lot of pre-coiners or early coiners or people just getting in have no idea. They think Lightning is something separate, and the address format can be confusing. So I can't wait till everyone does what you just said there.
We're bringing Lightning access next month as well, so it should work as well. Yeah.
Nice. This is all boring stuff here, but we kind of have to just chat on it a little bit. And, you know, let's talk about current users. I think I'm showing somewhere maybe close to 13,000. I'm not sure if that's higher or not that are currently on the platform. Is that about right?
So it's almost 16,000 right now. I think
16,000.
We sent this deck in last month or so. Yeah, so it's almost 16,000 right now.
Okay, so then total transaction volume has crossed 3 million. Is that right?
Yeah, should be around $3.5 million as of now. Yeah.
Okay, more boring questions, but sometimes the questions that people want to know. As far as your monthly burn rate right now, how does that look?
It's still around $17,000. It's been mostly there. We've had only a few, maybe 2, 3 outlier months, but it's mostly been $18,000.
Okay, and how many are on your team currently?
31. 31.
It's how many?
31.
31. Wow. Wow. That's great. Wow, that's impressive. So real quick,
just for context, 14.
I'm sorry, say it again.
14 of us are on the engineering team, including me. Yeah.
As far as what you're spending the money on, I see a lot of it is going to be for marketing. Have you done a lot of marketing to date, or has all of this growth been pretty much organic?
We haven't done a lot of marketing. Most of the growth has been organic. I'm not sure we spent up to $30,000 in marketing.
Uh-oh. I hope we didn't lose you. And we're about done anyway, if we did.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
we had a little bit of a technical difficulty with our man Bernard, who also has another podcast to do here. And I think we got everything that we needed. It's been awesome talking to you. You're giving people an opportunity in a part of the world that desperately needs it, to fight inflation, to fight capital controls, to, I mean, you know, lack of access and remittances. I mean, you're solving a lot of problems here. And I'm incredibly excited about your company. I'm thrilled that Lightning Ventures is able to get a small allocation here, and we're going to champion and support you all the way, Bernard. And
thank you.
I just think you're great, and I wanted to thank you for coming on and chatting on this Saturday.